To understand our moon, we have to look at the rest of our solar system. The Earth-Moon pair is an extreme statistical outlier. Compared to the other terrestrial planets, our satellite is unusually large, and the system contains a massive amount of angular momentum, the total rotational energy of Earth spinning on its axis, and the Moon orbiting around us. In 1898, astronomer George Darwin proposed an explanation for this anomaly that became the dominant academic theory for decades. He suggested the young Earth was spinning so fast that the centrifugal force simply threw a massive chunk of material off its surface. This fission theory posited the Moon was a byproduct of rotation. Darwin even suggested that the vast basin of the Pacific Ocean was the physical scar left behind by the departing rock. This idea dominated the scientific conversation because it was intuitive. However, at the turn of the century, it remained impossible to test. No one had physical access to the lunar surface to check the geochemical math. Scientific assumptions often remain academic fiction until physical evidence either proves the model or forces it to be abandoned. That physical evidence arrived in 1969. The Apollo missions provided the first opportunity to test the fission theory by retrieving actual lunar material. When geochemists analyzed these rocks, they discovered a severe lack of volatiles like zinc and water, elements that easily vaporize. On this empirical scale, this absence proves they were subjected to vaporizing temperatures. A gentle equatorial spin-off could not have generated this energy. The analysis also revealed that the lunar crust is highly anorthositic. This indicates that the entire Moon was once a global ocean of molten magma. These findings shattered the peaceful fission theory. The evidence demanded an origin event involving heat and energy far beyond the capabilities of a simple centrifugal spin-off. To explain that heat, we have to look back 4.5 billion years to the Hadean eon. The early solar system was populated by Mars-sized protoplanets in unstable orbits. The modern consensus is that the proto-Earth shared its orbital path with one of these bodies, a protoplanet scientists call Theia. Eventually, Theia struck the proto-Earth at an oblique angle, traveling at an estimated velocity of 9.3 kilometers per second. The kinetic energy of the collision instantly liquefied the outer layers of the proto-Earth, creating a global magma ocean across the planet's surface. During the impact, Theia's dense metallic core sank deep into the molten Earth and fused with our own planet's core. This fusion explains why Earth possesses an unusually high density today. We absorbed the heavy metallic center of another world. While the iron sank, the lighter silicates and crustal fragments from both bodies were blasted upward into the vacuum of space. Much of this material stabilized past the Roche limit, the distance from Earth where gravity is weak enough that debris can coalesce without being pulled back by tidal forces. Over decades, this superheated ring of debris began to cool. Under its own gravity, it swept up remaining fragments to form a single orbiting body. Because the iron core of the impactor was already trapped inside the Earth, the material available to form the Moon was iron-poor silicate rock, aligning with the Apollo cycles. The Moon formed from Earth's own ejected material, a permanent orbital byproduct of the planet's early reconstruction. While the impact explains the physics, it introduces a major chemical problem. If Theia hit Earth, the Moon should be a mixture of Earth's rock and alien material. Modern testing shows identical signatures for stable isotopes like oxygen and titanium. Because these isotopes vary between every other body in the solar system, the match between the Earth and Moon is highly anomalous. If Theia was a separate protoplanet, its unique chemical fingerprint should be present. Instead, it's missing. To resolve this, scientists need to refine the physical models of the collision. We use laser reflectors on the lunar surface to measure the Moon's distance and orbital drift, which provides the precise angular momentum data any impact scenario must satisfy. This paradox indicates that the collision was far more transformative than a simple mechanical strike. Recent models, like the terrestrial magma ocean hypothesis, suggests the impact primarily ejected Earth's existing magma, rather than Theia's solid rock. The synestia model suggests the impact was so energetic it vaporized both planets into a fast-spinning cloud of gas. This allows the material to mix thoroughly before condensing into the Earth and Moon. High-resolution simulations from 2022 offer a different solution, showing that a specific type of impact could place Earth-like material directly into orbit in mere hours. These immediate formation models explain how the Moon ended up with an Earth-like chemical signature, without requiring millions of years of orbital mixing. These findings indicate that the Earth and Moon are the survivors of a shared collision. Our satellite is effectively a piece of the world we inhabit, displaced by an impact 4.5 billion years ago.